Hello, hello, hello. Spa time with new putty and matching color hat. New putty. This is Blue God, the infinite cosmos. Okay. Jello pudding. Nice. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. My other two have already shriveled up. The water has evaporated in the other two putties. This is still new and transparent and amazing. I made that sweater myself, by the way. It's really nice. Comes down over my hips, which keeps my behind warm. It's important because I am prone to bladder infections. I have the heater on here under the table. It's nice and toasty. And Valentina Lisitsa is playing for us, piano. It couldn't be any better. And Papa Dog is very happy. Okay. He likes this weather. He likes this high air moisture. It's good for his nose. When we went to the desert, I put my super magic, amazing, super duper self-made lip balm on his nose. And it worked like a charm. It worked right away. It moistened his nose. And dogs have to have wet noses, very important. When the nose is not wet, then they are not feeling super great. The nose has to be ice cold and wet, like this thing here. This is such a beautiful visual. I love this. Beautiful, gorgeous. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Fantastic. Aquatic noise putty. I hope the frogs are doing okay out there. Same color almost. That is amazing. Nice. That is nice. I want wanted to talk about the infinite cosmos. Real quick overview on what happened to me in 2003. Since I got this, I had migraine headaches and was constantly triggered by people and constantly angry, and I was an atheist. And with my atheist husband, animal rights activists, constantly angry about what's happening in the world, rightly so. Yeah. But it gave me migraine headaches, and I just closed the door. I didn't see where other people are coming from. I didn't see causalities. I didn't see metaphysics. I didn't want to see metaphysics. I was afraid of it. Have been afraid of ghosts my whole life. That's why I wasn't really an atheist, but I was trying to be one. And I was just running away from the pain, from the metaphysics, from all of these things, and just kept getting terrible migraine headaches. And in one of those migraine headaches, I suddenly had a vision. It came to me and spoke to me, and it was like this, exactly like this, exactly like this. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. It was exactly like this. And it formed itself into a small hand, kind of like a Chinese scratch hand made out of plastic, like a doll type of scratch hand with long fingernails on it. And this was a long arm stick type of, but made out of this kind of material, but soft, but still hard. And this hand said everything's okay, and it reached into my brain and it started to repair things for about 10 minutes. It was rumbling around in there and rumbling, and it was fixing things. It was completely an energetic experience. And so after those 10 minutes, the migraines were gone. The headache was completely gone, and there was this incredible lightness, and it was sparkly and amazing. And there was this presence of this material. And the presence said, I'll never disappear from your sight. I've always been there with you. But you needed to go through these experiences in order to find me. So, not because he punished me or anything, but because I punished myself. I punished myself during that time, holding grudges against all kinds of people that were just in pain. They were assholes, but they were in pain. And I couldn't see this. I could only see me as being the victim and all of this. So I've come a long way through a long journey. And everyone else can do the same thing, wherever someone is, we can meditate, we can become mindful, we can go into ourselves, and we can introspect, and we can find out what is it, why am I so upset. Teal Swan made a video about this, very great video. She has a couple of things that you can write down into a notebook. Very serious questions, introspective questions. Why am I so upset? What needs that I have were denied to me by whatever people, circumstances. We sometimes put ourselves in very sabotaging situations. So it starts with these questions, and if we introspect into these questions, if we lean into these questions, then we can, the answers will come by themselves. They're already there inside of us, but they will come to us. And they have nothing to do with dogma or thinking processes. That is something else. That runs on a different frequency, those answers. because the answers could possibly be to the ego and the conscious mind, the upper level consciousness. It could appear as ridiculous. It could appear as whatever people are actually trying to run away from. Let me use this example. There are women, they want respect so badly that they have denied the divine feminine in themselves. I'm not talking about gay women right now. I'm talking about regular, straight women that like men and everything, but have denied the divine feminine inside of themselves. So for gay women, that's a completely different thing. They may be acting out girly, but really, in reality, really want another girl to cuddle with. So that's a difference. So there's a denial going on too. But right now, let me use this example with the rigid straight lady. The rigid straight lady could be a fundamentalist, could also be a judge, could also be someone who always thinks that she has to prove herself in society. She needs to become a lawyer. There's nothing wrong with that, but if it comes from a motivation of fun and really, hey, I want to get informed, I want to know my rights, but a lot of those people come from the mindset of, I need to prove this to myself and the world and others and the men, and I need to be regarded as an equal. We can achieve this by just saying to the men, hey, I'm an equal. Okay, that's enough. We don't need to be bending over backwards doing something we don't want to do in order to prove this, right? So but they do things they don't want to do, and they didn't deny their divine feminine. They deny their, and I have inherited this from my mother to a certain degree, but then I was also, because I have a lot of femininity in me. I don't put a lot of makeup on, I don't dress up, but there's a different reason for this, because I don't think we should have to do this in order to be seen as divine feminine. So I have a lot of divine feminine in me, and I've always known this. I always have been also acting out of this, that's just out of free flow, like giggly or flirty. Or now that I get older, I've become a lot more introspective, of course, and more serious, and I'm not partying anymore and all of this. So, but I would still flirt, with someone if I am attracted to someone. So, and I would still marry someone if I found the right guy. So right now I am married in a utilitarian relationship and very deep friendship, and that's okay. It's all okay. It's not. It is not romantic, and it's okay too. It's all okay. But if I was to find someone I'm attracted to, and then it would be wonderful. It would be great. So, and I am very, very. I have a lot. I have very, 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 very much the female in me, and I even did a test on this, and I scored to the utmost extreme end of femininity. So it was body and mind. And no, I'm not showing my body because I'm not into that kind of attention seeking. Like, I would feel very embarrassed about it. But I have tendencies in that direction because the flow draws me towards it. But then I have also a lot of this, I wouldn't call it pride, but I have a lot of this what I inherited from my mother, which is this: thou shalt not be, you know, mundane. That's a word she used always, you know. Mundane, or half silken is another word, or tacky, or, you know, whatever, you know. And so, you know, of course there is no fine line, and it just fades over and from one thing into another. What matters here is that we follow our flow of action that comes from our personal mind and soul. So not be hoary in terms of getting something out of it, eliciting something, you know, wanting attention or whatever. But if you want to be hoary in some way, and you know, I don't necessarily use that word, but if you want to use that word, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. If we want to be sexual, then follow that inner gut feeling and flow. If I feel like putting something, dressing in a specific way, or if I feel like putting makeup on, if I feel like wanting to look sensual, then it comes from the inner flow. And that we follow. And you can, whatever you want to wear, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, if we want to be nude at a party, I think this is perfectly okay. You know, if we want to take our tops off, and I've been to parties like this where I was running around in a bra, and the other people said, why don't you take that off too? But that was a little bit too much for me, because there were too many other people. So I felt a little awkward about that then. So there, you know, even though I wanted to, but then there was my limitation that came from my mother, that came from the rigidness and all of these things. So if we follow our flow, whatever we are doing, dressing sexy or going nude, you know, that is, when it's warm enough, that's really, really okay. That's fantastic. Okay. If it's done out of the need to whatever, to fit in, or to be adored, or to elicit something, then it's not coming from the flow. So, and there are such situations where I would not impose on other people, of course. You know, if I go in a supermarket, I'm not going to go nude. I'm not going to do flashing or if of any sort. You know, I'm not going to go in there in a bra either. So, I mean, you know, I have respect for others. You know, I want others to have respect for me and for others as well. So there's certain situations we have to be respectful. Robert Greene also talks about this. It's very important. You know, he wrote a new book on how to conduct yourself. I don't agree with Robert Greene on everything. I think his motivations, I don't know about exactly all of his motivations, but it seems a little bit too much in the direction of whatever is demanded from society, I will do. And that's not the right mindset either. But there are situations where we just have to be courteous. We have to be respectful. So, and I'm not talking about when in Rome, dress like a Roman or act like a Roman. That's not what I'm talking about. You know, we need to differentiate between these kind of things. So, just because I visit a country, let's say I visit Sumatra, which I've always wanted to visit, seems so amazing, like a paradise. The problem is it's Muslim dominated now. And so if I went there, obviously I would not be running around nude. I wouldn't even go topless. I wouldn't even dress with a skimpy kind of outfit there or something. I would probably dress in a t-shirt and a cargo shorts that comes down to my knees or something. Something boyish, you know. But I'm not gonna put a chador on. I'm not gonna put a hijab on. No, I'm not going to do this. So we have to follow our gut instincts on this. I'm not going to let someone make me do something that I find abhorrent or oppressive. I would never do that. And if it's too dangerous to be just a regular tourist with regular clothes, then I would not go there. Too bad. I can't go there. Sumatra coffee, baby. I don't drink any Sumatra coffee, and I don't drink any coffee at all. But I would like to go to Sumatra, but I guess only when we have the robots running this planet. So then, because then they can't cut someone's head off for being just a regular tourist with a cargo shorts that comes down to the knees and a white t-shirt that comes up to here. So no, I find so there really should not be a problem with that outfit. I mean, if someone runs around and is provocative, yeah, then in a place like that, it is a little bit, first of all, risky, and also could be seen as mocking. It has to be weighed off, you know. Whatever situation we're in, we have to weigh this off. Always trust your gut instinct in this. Always, always, always. And always be calm and friendly. This is the Native American sign of friendship and peace. Okay? There's a company, Teva. I bought shoes from them a couple of years ago. Teva. They use this symbol, okay? The open hand of friendship. And this symbol is universal. And not because it's normed, not because people talked about it and decided we're going to use this as a symbol of friendship, but this is a universal language of primate language. Even works for other animals who are not primates. If I have this open hand, the other animals, they would roll on their backs and show the belly. This is kind of the same thing. I show the inside, the palm of my hand, an open gesture of friendship, of I have no weapons, I'm coming here as a friend, as someone who is curious, who wants to get to know your beautiful landscape. I come here as an earthian being. This is also mine because I live here. We live here together on this planet. You cannot say that energetically this is yours and you dominate over it and you do whatever you do with any living being. No, you don't have the right to hurt anyone. Even if it's your private property, even if it is your nation, you know, people always making things into nations, that in itself is very neurotic. Or they go to places and they hurt others, you know, the story of the settlers in the United States and Australia is very grim. So that's all terrible. Violence is always, always unacceptable. So whatever we are doing, let's do it out of peace and out of a free flow, out of our gut instinct of how we like it. We see something we like, go for it, whatever it is. If it's something artsy, if it's an expression in writing, if it is feeling like you want to sing or play an instrument, or be sexual, or dance, or whatever you want to do. If it comes out of that gut instinct of, yes, that feels right, then it's good. A lot of people, a lot of women have repressed this inside of them, out of pain, out of childhood pain. And then they are no longer in tune with the infinite cosmos. So let's tune in again into the infinite cosmos. And celebrate the person who you are, woman or man or anyone on that scale from A to Z. A lot of kids are born in between, and it's not their fault. Whoever you are, celebrate who you are fully. Go for what you want and what you like and whom you are attracted to. Or if you are a dog, a giraffe, or a hippopotamus, be that. Or come back as those in your next lifetime to learn what it's like. I know that the sons of Donald Trump are going to. They are going to in their next lifetime. They're going to come back as elephant and giraffe. Okay, so that's what they're going to come back as. One comes back as an elephant, one comes back as a giraffe. They might even meet each other. So they need to know what it's like to be on the receiving end of this. So my wish is, don't recreate the horror, not even from the other side of the canyon. So, but go to the point where you get to feel how it feels and be rescued. So that's my wish to you. And then and then you appreciate those people, the environmentalists, the animal rights activists. Then you appreciate them when you are the one on the receiving end and you have come back as that other being that you have butchered in your last lives. That's karma. That's cause and effect. It often takes that in order to become aware and conscious. It takes that experience because it's too difficult for them, enmeshed in ego and self-identification and self-images, to realize during their current lifetimes, to realize what the other is actually feeling and going through. They're just like you. There's no difference in sentience and perception and feeling and all the needs of a mammal. Okay? We share that with them. A lot of people have been cutting themselves off from that awareness, from that consciousness. So that's why I make videos, to bring that awareness back to the handful of people who might come across my videos. Peace and kindness and compassionate empathy is the meaning of life. We all benefit from it, all of us, you and everyone else. And that's wonderful. It's just wonderful. It's wonderful to live like that. And if that stands in contrast to what your dad drilled into you, then let your dad's indoctrination go. You don't have to adhere to violence or violent indoctrinations or violent family values or whatever they put into people. You can be an Earthian with Earthian values or Martian values. Those are the values of the infinite cosmos. And that's fantastic. This thing here is sensuality, pure sensuality. So after that hand reached into my brain in 2003 in LA, in our former home there was in an afternoon, I don't know, around 4 o'clock or something. After that, my entire perception shifted. And I was no longer running away from the metaphysical world, because I just knew it's there. Okay. And it's okay. And it's not scary. It doesn't have to be scary. It's not scary at all. Ghosts are not scary either. Always been afraid of ghosts. Ghosts only want you to see them and hear them and feel compassion for them. That's what they're after. They just want compassion. So I communicate with them in my head, or sometimes I talk to them and I say, it's okay, you can go within yourself. There's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to cling to, ever. Nothing to get from anyone. Go within yourself and take the journey into the Orion Nebula and beyond. And rest there. Rest and be in total peace with the infinite cosmos. That's my message to them. And they're very happy when you say that to them. They're very relieved. because they come from this energetic field. Jiddu Krishnamurti calls it the stream of sorrow. And all the people that are still the stagnated soul levels. That's the first level. That's the beginner soul, the stagnated level. Because they stay on that level for a long, long time. That's why I call it the stagnator. It's not stagnated, but it moves very, very slowly. And oftentimes they are, during their lifetimes, not moving at all. So that's why they're stagnated. So they realized more than after they had let go in the very end. They let go for a second and then they're gone and then they're floating and then comes a realization. So then they moved a little bit forward then in that instance. And they'll come back and they'll pick up where they left off in their development, usually in a very similar situation. My intuition is that if we all help them heal by ourselves going into ourselves, into introspection, that we can speed up that healing and forward moving process for all entities, for all minds. Coming back in an animal body is a wonderful and very honest thing to do for the soul, particularly coming back in that being that a person in their previous lifetime has hurt. Mother Teresa, she's coming back as many dogs, many, many, many dog lifetimes. She's already been through one. That definitely affected me heavily in 2012. I'm not going to get into it now. So that was a very, very horrible cruelty case. I'm not going to get into it now. And I felt with her all the way through. Don't be so ambitious, Mother Teresa. You have time. You don't need to go through such horrible, horrible experiences. There's no need for it. It doesn't help the world. We can gradually move forward. Whatever people are addicted to, whatever it may be, if it's self-harm or harming of others or drug addiction or whatever it is that people are addicted to. And there are people addicted to these things because of their childhood pain. If you're addicted to this, just remember, never ever hurt another living being. You're not moving forward if you do. And this doesn't have to be through some kind of, that doesn't have to be like out of a mindset of self-restraint. That's not what I'm talking about. Don't hurt someone and then sit with that pain. that comes up when you're not hurting someone. I'm talking to all those people out there that are addicted to hurting someone or themselves. Don't do it. Don't do the act out, and see what kind of emotion comes up. It cannot kill you. You survived the trauma from the past. So if the trauma from the past comes up, it just wants to speak to you, and it wants to liberate itself. It wants to become integrated as a normal, regular memory, not as something that is being repressed. Whatever we repress, it comes back like a boomerang. It comes back with a vengeance. Introspect, speak to that what wants to speak to you. Don't act it out. And the most amazing things will happen. There will be the part of you that you had buried that will suddenly come to the surface. An innocent child, an innocent being, an innocent adult that's been buried underneath those act-outs your whole life. It will come to the surface. It will be aching, but it will be aching in a good way. Without the addiction, without the cycle of act out, without the need to act out. It will come out in introspection, and you will say, I'm infinitely sorry, and I don't want to be forgiven, and I'm not going to forgive myself. I know I didn't know better. I was not thinking clearly. Say that to yourself. So cross the arms like this and say you didn't know better, and you're past this now, and you're never gonna do it again, no matter what. Never gonna hurt another living being again, no matter what. That's a wonderful mental state if you reach that level, that energetic level of meditation. Can happen in one meditation session. And you say to yourself, I'm never going to do this again. I made mistakes, but I'm never going to repeat those mistakes again. I don't need to. I'd rather sit with it and see what comes up and see how it feels. There may be rivers of tears coming up. Rivers of tears, of hurt from your father, stepfather, who have beaten you, an innocent being. Let those tears run. Talk to your inner child. Let it cry. And hold that inner child in your arms and say, I'm infinitely sorry for what happened to you. It's okay now, I'm holding you. It's all okay. We're never hurting anyone else again. We're never going to be running away from this pain ever again. Never get running away into any addiction. We become vigilant about our dopamine receptor addiction cycle. And we say no, no more. We're all entangled together in this. If you end this cycle of suffering, you have greatly relieved the entire world. Take care.